We ask all listeners to gamble responsibly. All odds and tips mentioned in this podcast are personal opinions and used in reference to the Kindred brands. Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Kindred Kickoff podcast. Today I'm joined with the same lineup as last week. I'm with Benji, Louis and Niklas, who's joining us online this time. He's in... Where are you, Niklas?
In a place in Sweden called Stockholm.
Oh yeah, everyone knows.
It feels unfamiliar for me.
Yeah, everyone. We've got loads of colleagues in Stockholm, so a warm welcome to Niklas from Stockholm. Before we kick off today's pod, obviously we want to give a massive shout out to the England women's team, the Lionesses, who are through to the final, playing Spain. Just a quick one, guys. How did you see that one going in the final?
Oh, it's
Finally poised.
all to play for, either team. I mean, I really thought in the other semi-final when Sweden equalized that they had the momentum and actually Spain got the game all right. So I think, Spain are strong, but I personally think England's been improving throughout the competition. They weren't that impressive in the beginning, but they look in control now.
They look good today.
But 90 minutes, anything can happen. We'll tune in this weekend.
Niklas, any from you?
Wow, that's hedging. I think actually, and well, some homage to the French team when they won the Men's World Cup, whatever that was, 5-6 years ago. I think England have got the same qualities. That they're not impressive in every game they play, but they find ways to win. So
Yeah.
I fancy the Lionesses to win this one.
Lewis, is it a clean sweep?
Yeah, I'm going England. I think Spain will struggle to defend the English team even if they look really good on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think England will have plenty of chances, and I'd be surprised if they don't score at least 2 goals.
And in the game today against Australia, Sweden, that England-Australia match, the Australian goal was an absolute rocket. Like, if that's what you need to score against England, it's not going to be that easy. Even if Spain has decent forwards, I think, yeah, I'm with you as well. And I like that French reference, Niklas, where you win more than you just play well. If you can do both, it's great, but the priority is to win.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think, as you said, clean sweep here. We're all behind the Lionesses. Let's see if it goes as good as our Villa predictions.
Yeah. We will be touching on the Villa prediction from last week. Obviously, we bigged them up a lot. Got a tasty little 5-1 win from Newcastle, so we won't be as outlandish this time. And so, yeah, obviously kicking things off, last week we saw Man City beat Burnley 3-0. I mean, we didn't really see it going any other way, did we?
No, that's it. As predicted beforehand, I think
Haaland at the double.
It's a big step up for Burnley.
I think Burnley will be all right, though, won't they?
So, I had them at outright getting relegated. I don't know if they'll be all right. I didn't watch that game myself. But I think if you look at who they have this week, actually the game has been postponed as well. But they're playing Luton. We'll still go over last week's game, but the first 2 games this week are Forest, Sheffield, and Luton, Burnley. So you're talking already relegation battle matches. I know they're 6-pointers, and people never say that in the beginning of the season. Somehow they only say that in the last 2 months, but those are 6-pointers straight away.
Of course. And then obviously we saw Arsenal take on Forest. Arsenal dominated the ball, had a lot of possession. I saw that XG gave Forest the better of the chances, though. Possession football from Arsenal may not always work. You've got to be clinical as well. I think that we saw some good stuff from Arsenal. Saka looks at it again, which is going to be dangerous for the rest of the league. I saw a lot of people slagging off Havertz, but I thought he had a good game. So again, I still think there's more to come from Arsenal, but kind of what we saw coming from that game, I don't think there was any surprises from that.
No, they looked a bit vulnerable defensively, but first game of the season, all you need is the win. As long as you get the win, that's fine. You kick off from there.
Of course.
And half of this podcast are United fans, and to a degree, probably the same narrative. You won't remember that game in 6 months. You had 3 points, and I think that's what you just needed a good start. Whether that's United, whether that's Arsenal, you needed a good start.
Yeah, but there are different ways. I mean, if we are segueing, I'm appalled by the display from Man United.
Yeah,
I'm disgusted.
there's not a lot of games where I've walked out of a win. I say I've walked out of a win. I didn't contribute, but there's not a lot of games where I come out from a win and say that was awful. Yeah, I can't think of the last time. A lot of problems in midfield, but we're not gonna bang on about United. Their time will come later in the pod potentially. So then we had Sheffield United, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, as you remember, was one of my tips to potentially go down 8 times your money. They won against Sheffield United. But
Sheffield United's everyone's tip to go down, so I think that's fair.
That was our banker. That was the team that we all tipped.
And they looked potentially the poorest team the whole weekend as well, even worse than Luton were, and they lost 4-1 to Brighton.
I do think one or two of you said last week for Luton to finish above Sheffield.
I wouldn't be surprised if
which,
Sheffield United finished last.
Which translated, yeah, exactly. So,
just touching on that, would you say that that's an achievement if Luton were to finish 19th rather than 20th?
I think to me it looks like they've not invested like a team that's expecting to stay up. I think they've invested in players that are very good championship players, and if they go down it's not a big deal. They haven't over-invested, they won't be in trouble money-wise. Then they have the foundation to go back up again.
So from what I understood, like they spent more of the investment on the infrastructures, which is what you want for sustainability and longevity, so that you, when you do want to come back up next year or the year after that, you still have the structure. And it's not like I think at Derby you did that a few years ago. When you invest in players, you miss the promotion, and most of the players you invested just go away, like Football Manager when you have 15 loans. So yeah, I would agree with you on that.
The other game which we covered, I think I said it was going to be quite a tasty, cagey affair. Bournemouth West Ham. I finished 1-1. West Ham, again, we don't really know what to expect from them this season. I mean, they got the James Ward-Prowse through the door. Harry Maguire looks like it's fallen through now, but I'm sure they will continue to invest. Paqueta looks like he could potentially be on the way to City. Didn't see that one coming.
That's another 100 million for them to spend.
Yep, another 100 million for Pep.
And West Ham plays Chelsea this weekend, so that's it. The testing phase is straight away going to be, like, okay, what are you going to do? And obviously Chelsea is where they are, and that's another game you'll touch now. But I think, the London Derby, West Ham at home, they need to do something.
Moyes was one of your tips to be out first as well, right? One of the early sackings.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not about the performance. It's about the club hierarchy and how it seems like they're not really getting along. That's just looking from the outside. That was the only reason. Bar, the top teams, it doesn't look like they have managers that would leave very quickly, even if they didn't perform badly. So, yeah. That's still my tip, but it's not something that I'd heavily invest in.
No. You have Chelsea at 1.9 the money to win in West Ham on Sunday.
Yeah, they look sharp. Chelsea, I think.
Could be a good bet. Yeah, it could be a good bet.
Chelsea away on that, right?
Yeah.
What did you lads think of the Caicedo derby between Chelsea and Liverpool?
So we've got a few. Well, I mean, it's not even just Caicedo now, is it? It's Caicedo and Lavia. So I haven't seen a steal like that for a while. It's a double hijacking.
It's painful.
We had some messages from Louis on Friday morning being like, yeah, we're going to win the league, blah, blah, blah. I was on a flight to Barcelona. By the time I landed, I think Chelsea had nicked the deal. And I was like, that's football for you nowadays. It's been a crazy window. If you take in everything that's happened, we've still got 2 weeks of the window left. So there's going to be a few more twists and turns. We'll touch on Chelsea Liverpool in a second. We're gonna box off Brighton and Luton, which again I think everyone saw.
Easy win as expected. I think we all thought Brighton win by a couple goals. Mm-hmm. I think that one of the tips was to win by at least 2. They won by 3, could have probably won by more. I saw Joao Pedro miss an almost open goal, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been more.
Can they carry that in the weekend? 195 to win at Wolves.
Wolves did look good, but
I think it's difficult to evaluate Wolves just because United were so poor in that game.
United were so poor, but I also looked at the way that Wolves played was really aggressive, and everyone was kind of slagging off what a poor team they've got. Nunez and the striker they signed from Atletico Madrid, I forgot his name, Cunha. looked on fire. But yeah, like you said, that was just United being poor. So
And new manager as well. Since last week.
Had a new manager
True.
bounce, you know. That's the first. I think that's the first ever Premier League game where you kick off the season with a new manager bounce. So interesting times for them.
Yeah.
And then we had Fulham, Everton. Everton looked dreadful. I can't see where the goals are coming from for Everton. They looked really bad. Calvert-Lewin's still injured. Maupay wasn't looking his usual, you know, the Brighton Maupay. Yeah, I kind of fear for Everton. I think that's going to be another dogfight for them this year.
Yeah, it's one of the ones
I watched that game.
You watched it?
I watched it, and I must say that was one of the weirdest games I've watched in a long time, because Everton could have been 3-0 up half-time if they had any ability to score goals, but equally I think Fulham could have won 3-0 because they missed some absolute sitters there in the second half, and it was so weird that that game only had one goal in it. Mitrovic came on, and he came off. He even wore the captain's armband, which is weird considering all the speculation of him going to Saudi. It was just an all-round weird thing to watch.
Yeah.
And the result was just the cherry on the cake for that. I agree with you.
Isn't the captain armband just a safety so that he can speak to the ref without getting sent
No
off?
problem. Yeah. I think
So you're just making captain.
point.
that's a good little.
You you still can't elbow him, but at least you can speak. So, but yeah, that was one of my failure tips from last week. Both teams to score in that game. I thought, as you said, it could be more goals, but yeah, let's see. Everton are going to be one to watch, and they might come in that relegation battle. I don't think we tipped them that much last week, but
we mentioned them as one of the candidates, but
Yeah, I think we mentioned pretty much half of the bottom 10 last season, apart from Sheffield United and Luton. There could be any of them. It's a real rat race this year. Moving on to the game which we all probably got wrong, Newcastle Villa. Where'd you start with this?
So I'll start with my.
Should we start with how everyone got everything wrong?
I'll
for this one?
I got it right. I tipped the cards, and there was plenty of those.
Okay.
I need to put a timeout whistle here. I had both teams to score. Watkins shot on target, Diaby shot on target, and Tonali card. Like, this was outstanding. The bet builder of the week. It came in 94th minute, that Tonali card, but I did tell you it would come. I think this doesn't mean anything for Villa. It doesn't kill what we said last week.
Yeah.
I think it means a lot maybe for Newcastle. Well, they Isak scored off really well. I mean, Wilson had 3 shots on target. Tonali was, I think it was a great game from Newcastle. I think Villa's first game with the changes they had was always going to be like that. I'm sure they're not happy with the 5-1 loss.
Yeah.
But Villa had a lot of chances, right?
Exactly.
They only kind of lost the game when Consa made a mistake, and was that the 3-1 goal? I think, then the game was kind of done, but it's based on just a small mistake, really. I think they were well in the game otherwise.
And a lot of managers are going to tell you you're going to lose games that you were supposed to win, and you're going to win games that you were supposed to lose. This one, they didn't play bad. They're not going to go away and say, "Oh, we got destroyed." They get destroyed on the scoreboard, but I think they could, like this weekend. I think they need to win for our collective tipping, but I also think they're playing Everton at home Sunday afternoon. So this one is 167 times the money for me would be an easy, not almost guaranteed Villa win, but that's what I think. And Diaby was looking good. He's really happy with that. But let's more.
Tyrone Mings out though for a while.
Oh
Yeah.
true.
Maybe they'll come in and get Maguire. Fingers crossed, It was nice to see the Newcastle players, really celebrate that game like it didn't mean anything to them afterwards. Posting pictures like they'd won the league again.
Yeah.
But one of you did say that stadium as well when you're back, it's it.
When they play at home, Newcastle get a lot of points.
Yeah.
And again, it's early on in the season. They'll probably get a lot of points this season. I think the questions will come when they start playing in Europe and they play multiple games a week. So for now, they'll probably perform really well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they'll perform poorly either when they start Champions League, but that's when
More questions will be asked.
More questions will be asked.
100%. Well,
My Eddie Howe prediction of him being the first manager to be sacked looks absolutely perfect with this.
So
I say with a lot of egg in my face, just so you know. That's sarcasm.
on the Newcastle topic, and here we're going to segue a little bit to today. Today it's Wednesday the 16th. I'm not sure when the pod will be out, but today is the Super Cup, and City plays Sevilla. City is heavy favorite, and anything can happen. But on Saturday evening at 8 p.m., which is a very rare kickoff time for the Premier League, City plays Newcastle. So City will have 3 games this week in total, and De Bruyne got injured. Laporte is probably Saudi bound, I heard this morning as well. So, that City Newcastle is already a big game for me, given what Newcastle did last week. They are 5.3 times the money to win. I'm not saying they will, but they're also 2.33 times the money for double chance on Newcastle. So that could be a risky tip, but still a tip. But then again, maybe the City machine will go, Pep and his tactics and so on. So, but this is probably one of the biggest games this weekend with the Tottenham United. So I'm not sure what to think on that. Can otherwise the opposite argument, City is 1.67 times the money. So that's, if you think City are going to win, that's probably a good price to take.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that City Newcastle, which is already clash at the top of the table?
Cards galore for me. So many cards in that game.
Similar take to you, Lou. I think I had a little gander and I found a bet builder, which I really, really like. Over 2.5 goals, over 0.5 Newcastle goals, over 1.5 cards for Man City, and over 1.5 cards for Newcastle, 4 times the money. I looked at last year's fixtures, and in the 2-0 home for City, which was the last one between them, 6 yellow cards. It just backs your hypothesis here, Lou.
Yeah.
It's going to be cards galore. A lot of shithousery. I'm not sure if we should cut that, but definitely.
I saw Anthony Gordon got fouled 7 times against Aston Villa. 7 times. Yeah. That's a lot, man.
I think across the games there was a lot more cards than the typical. We've been looking at the Prem for the past 20 years as the more manly league, and don't dive here, blah blah blah. But I think it's getting a lot of cards. What we said with the referee changes as well, and the extra time, and the added time, you're getting cards for time wasting a lot more than before. That's what I saw last weekend as well. So I would back your card hypothesis on this game, and there's going to be a bit of tension as well. And then the question, will City be tired for that game? They have a big squad,
I think that game in the middle of the week might do it, because everyone's one of the things that struck me with United was how physically we didn't look sharp, because that team had only that starting 11 had only had 1 game together against Lens. They hadn't had loads of pre-season time together for whatever reason. I don't know why, but this might do City a bit of favour. Getting the games back in the legs might do them a bit
That's
good.
True. And we said it last week. Pep said it as well. They played 2 weeks more than everyone else with the Champions League final.
True, yeah.
So they came back 2 weeks later than everyone else. So you got to get back in the rhythm. And I don't think Burnley was enough of a test last week. This will be one.
Yeah, well, yeah. Newcastle are going to come out 110%, closing down every ball, getting in their face. So that'll be an interesting game to keep an eye on this weekend.
Yeah.
Boxing off last week, Brentford Tottenham. Good game. Was impressed with Tottenham. Brentford obviously without Tony.
Wissa's a good replacement.
Yeah, he looks good.
He's good.
I said Bueno would still cause problems. He's a real handful. So, yeah, I think more to come from Tottenham. Obviously, they have now lost Kane officially.
They still scored 2 goals without Kane.
They're adapting to a new system as well. You see Son starting a bit wider. Madison's on the ball a lot. Obviously, Richarlison starting striker didn't create too much, but I thought Madison looked really sharp.
I don't know if I would play Son striker straight away myself, but I don't have the biggest love for Richarlison as well, so I can confess that.
Kane has already missed out on his first piece of silver as well, so good weekend all round.
So Tottenham obviously playing United this weekend. Tottenham at home, almost 3 times the money. United 2.5 times the money. That's the other big game of the weekend. Hard to predict. I would have both teams scoring given the status of the defenses, but I don't know if United's goalkeeper is going to go for a boxing game again.
If United play the way that we did against Wolves, we'll get packed. You can see that.
You'll concede at least, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Okay.
Wolves had 25 shots on goal.
Wow.
That's the most since 2005.
You need to close down shooters.
The whole thing was a mess, mate, from the front to the back.
So that's 5:30 Saturday, Tottenham United. What do you have, Niklas, on that?
Yeah. Can I come with 2 things? First and foremost, on the Kane move in and James Maddison picking up the baton on that. I think, have we all been fooled by Kane? And looking at Maddison in that number 10 shirt, I'm just thinking maybe it's the shirt that does it all. The number 10 shirt in Spurs.
Is this
It has
another one of
nothing to do
your-
with the player.
Is this another one of your mad theories?
Yeah.
Get the
And
tinfoil
I'm also
hats on.
picking up on the banter which he sort of had with one of the journalists asking about the shirt after the game. My take on this game, I just look at the yellow card lunatic derby with Casemiro and Romero to be booked in this game.
Yeah,
I just
and Skip,
cannot
and-
avoid. Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony's got a yellow card in him as well.
I mean, the danger is
Yeah.
how many you put in that bell builder to get a card.
Yeah.
Because every
It'd be
every name is like. I'll
It'd be
put it.
tempting to add 10 players, but
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I actually went for two. So those are the two players who obviously they just get booked so often.
It's like
But then
Casemiro
I
and
think for
Romero.
me- Yes,
Sorry,
that
okay.
you get around 550 for that, which I think is a good price.
It is.
Then I think I have the midfield battle between Bruno Fernandes. Yes, pronunciation
That's a
in Portuguese.
fantastic
I'm just
pronunciation.
yeah, trying him to get booked with all of the showing yellow card with his hands and gestures and stuff, and Oliver Skip. I think that double to me is appealing at 1050.
So it's basically going to be a battle
And-
royale this weekend, so we're looking forward to it. The other game, which we said was one of the highlights last week, was the Lavia / Caicedo derby, Chelsea-Liverpool. Good game. I think Chelsea looked quite good. It's going to be interesting how that midfield three, if it is going to be a midfield three of Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia line up. Got the legs in there. That's a very athletic, powerful midfield, like the old Jose Mourinho, powerful midfield times.
But also, not to quote Football Manager all the time, that's a lot of changes in your team as well. You know,
100%.
like people have expectations. Oh, we just bought this guy; it's gonna work, and so on. But imagine yourself if you haven't worked, whether that's in football or even in your day job, you haven't worked with a guy, and he's here, and you expect him to perform the next day, and you don't know the guy. So
Yeah.
I think there are some question marks on that.
There's rumours now that they've also signed. Well, they're on the verge of signing Oliseh as well. So I don't know what they're doing with all these under 21 players that will all be vying for a spot. But
Well, they loaned
Time
4
will
of them to
tell.
France last week.
yeah, Strasbourg.
Strasbourg there, and there's like I'm very happy as a French guy for the league, but we'll get to see these guys. But yeah,
It's at the moment it looks very messy. How Poch deals with it. You know, we saw a PSG. You know, having a massive squad with big personalities.
Yeah.
It can falter a manager. So we'll see how that goes. I still fancy Chelsea to be up there. Maybe not fourth, but definitely challenging for that fourth spot.
one detail with Poch is he did it in Southampton, he did it in Tottenham. He likes to pick a couple of youngsters that he starts all the time, and they become his guys to rely on. He's really good with that. He tried in Paris as well, but the first team was so stacked that it was hard. But he still played a few.
yeah, he's not
teenagers.
someone who comes in and is loyal to the old guard, is he? I mean, yeah, there's players in there he's easily gotten rid of. I mean, what was it? Mason Mount out the door. Who else is there? Aspilicueta left.
He left. Havertz left.
Havertz out.
Yeah.
I think Cucurella brought in for 60 million or something last year. Out.
That was too expensive.
Yeah.
We're not going to go down a rabbit hole of how expensive
So-
players are.
On this game, we have already touched. So we were debriefing Chelsea-Liverpool. We've touched what Chelsea had this weekend with the trip to West Ham. Liverpool at home, Bournemouth. Time to kickstart the season and get your first 3 points. I mean, your second, third, and fourth point.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I think the price is too low on Liverpool for that
Yes.
to be any value. I think it's worth checking something like the shots line on Darwin Nunez. If he starts, I think he's going to be really hungry.
Liverpool in over a couple of goals as well. Could
I don't know. I wouldn't put my money on that. Easily,
fan.
maybe win 2-1 potentially.
Did Bournemouth not beat Liverpool last season at home?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
What
was
did-
the lowest point
what
of
did
the year.
Bournemouth do this weekend? Yeah, no.
They drew.
Bournemouth
Yeah,
have
they
won
drew,
all
drew,
the
drew,
season
yeah.
with West Ham.
But yeah, Jota was terrible against Chelsea, so I could see Darwin coming.
What's
in.
that formation? Was that 4-2-4? Did he start with 4-2-4? I saw he had essentially
I mean,
crazy.
you did say last week there is no midfield, so it will be about scoring more than you concede. So
I feel like the midfield of Liverpool and United fairly similar in the sense that you're looking at it and you're thinking, where's the legs, where's the number 6 in that?
Chelsea was there last week, but they spent money since. But it was the same. It was the same realization. All those midfields have been decimated through the weekend, to the transfer period.
The next game was Man United Wolves. I think we can brush over that game. We don't want to be here for too long.
No, we talked about it.
Yeah, we've said what we've got to say. I'm not going to go into a wormhole with that. This week, obviously Friday night kickoff, we've got Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, bottom of the table scrap, 6-pointer.
Yeah. Forest win.
Forest win, yeah.
100%.
I fancy Forest win. Forest are at 100.
190.
190 the money. That's good in that relegation battle. It's followed by, what was it? Wolves Brighton, because the Luton game's been postponed.
Yeah.
Which was the other relegation battle. Wolves Brighton. We said earlier, Brighton almost 2 times the money to win at Wolves. This could be a draw.
Let's see how Wolves look.
I
hope that they come out and play as well as they did against us, and
But I think Brighton are solid. They were solid
Brighton
last year.
and
we're not yet in the Europe time, so I think they'll struggle more in September, October. I think they're going to try to bank as many points as possible in August because they'll drop some as soon as the European competition starts.
Yeah, Europa. I think we did discuss last week how brutal that Europa League competition is when you're in from the start.
And it's Thursdays as well. It's stupid, but that's closer to the weekend.
Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Every week.
Interesting to see what kind of lines come up on Cunha after I think he had 5 shots against United the other day. I think that's worth watching.
Anything from your side, Niklas?
No, on that one. I have scouted a number of things for the Fulham Brentford game.
Yep, you can kick off then.
Right, because I watched the Spurs Brentford game, and I think Brentford looked incredibly dangerous on the counter-attack, even without Tony. And I think against Fulham, who looked open against, blunt Everton, let's be fair, I think I found another juicy 4 odds bet builder here with both teams to score. I think that's likely. Brentford +1 as a handicap, so you'll be fine as long as they draw or win. And over 3.5 cards, because I think we've seen a lot of cards given just throw-in situations or whatever have you. If you want to add some spice to your life, whilst listening to Spice Girls or whatever you want to do, you can have Mbuemo to score a goal, and you have a mouth-watering 8.5, or just him to score a goal at 3.15. He looked sharp.
He did look good.
Or Mitrovic to score and be sent off. What's the price on that?
He won't start, I think.
Is he going to leave? We're not going to go in the transfer rabbit hole. My bad.
Transfer rabbit hole when we approach deadline day.
Maybe we'll have a special towards the end of the
transfer deadline special.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one.
Neymar just went to Saudi Arabia today as well, so a lot more to come.
We mentioned Tottenham United. We've mentioned Man City, Newcastle. So we can skip to Villa Everton, which we've also touched on. But is there anything else for Everton Villa that we want to bring up? I think
Villa win 100%.
Villa all the way. We got to be consistent with last week. What was it, Niklas? Top 5 for Villa.
Being so positive with Villa, they can't lose 2 games.
No. And again, as Cem said, Everton were they're the team that's not a bottom 5 team that you were predicting, but they play like one, or they behave like one so far. So.
And then obviously we have West Ham, Chelsea, London derby.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think after having seen, I'm not even sure what we're going to call it, with Ben Chilwell on the left for Chelsea. It was resurgence. It was epic. It was poetic the way he played football, I think. I'm curious to see shot lines or assist lines or even goal scorer Ben Chilwell. For me, he was the man of the match in that game. Yeah. So I'm backing him in that game to do something.
I'm taking my little time machine and going back to last week's pod when I told you that Chilwell 3.5 assists for the season was 185. I think that'll be done before Christmas, if not before October.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good shout.
I'm with
He
you.
looked unreal.
I'm with you on that. He's a quality player. He's a quality player. Should have made the World Cup for England last year. He's just injured. He's coming back strong from it.
Injured a lot and needs to play in a back five.
Yeah.
I think the shots line on Jackson is probably interesting as well, depending on what that line is. Because, I mean, yeah, he was a handful once the game started. He might not be prolific. I mean, he missed a lot of chances, but he got to a lot of chances.
Final game of the week, Crystal Palace Arsenal. I think we all see an Arsenal win. It's Crystal Palace at home. Another London derby. We've got 3 London derbies this week.
Yeah, I think they're making the best of no European competitions and no other sports at the same time to back them all, because then it's become a logistics nightmare.
Yeah, wow, that's they're all playing each other. Nice.
Yeah, I think Arsenal should. I mean, I didn't watch them play this weekend. If we tip them to be top 3 or second, if they want to, they need to win these games.
Game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just don't see Crystal Palace scoring many goals this year. So that means they have to keep Arsenal out, and I can't see them not conceding a single goal against Arsenal. So.
I think there was a bold prediction on Palace.
There
to be
was
relegated.
from me.
Yeah. So
8 times your money.
yeah.
But then as well, they look like they might lose another couple players by the end of the
Honestly, it looks
transfer
like he's on the
window.
way out.
So
It's a big loss.
It's a big loss. Obviously, Zahara's already gone. They need a striker. They need a couple of wide forwards now. So we'll see where that takes them. Nicholas, anything on that last game?
I think for me, and I've done my research here by checking with people who aren't your mates, Cem. Is this the Eddie the Eagle derby? Where did that come from?
Eddie the Eagle.
There was a film
honestly,
a few years ago called
Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle about that Olympic, the bloke
about Eddie the Eagle.
about the actual Eddie the Eagle. And I think one of my mates called Eddie Nketiah Eddie the Eagle, and it's just stuck.
I hope this catches on.
Yeah, maybe I can. Yeah,
Goal celebration, like.
that's what they do as well. I've got a sad bunch of mates. Wish me luck though. This week I'm watching the Man City Newcastle game with some Newcastle fans, so that would be a laugh. And I'm also watching Tottenham United with them. I'm going to get a lot of abuse.
You live on the edge.
Oh, you know me, man. He's seen
I would say,
seen me in Glasgow.
my prediction for that game, actually, I'm going to come out with another one of my. I'm not even sure what to call them anymore. I think there's going to be a pen in this game.
For
Penalty kick awarded 3.
with Arsenal, Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Okay.
I like
If you
that.
want to be bold, you could take Arsenal to be awarded the penalty, but if you want to be happy for either of the teams to be given a penalty, 3 times.
I like that.
And that's one that we've not had on the pod yet. So thank you guys for today's pod. We'll be closing off on that. Obviously next week we'll be back again. We'll be previewing the games as we did this week and looking back on what we've just covered. Next week the tip of the games for me looks like Newcastle-Liverpool. Really tough start they've had Newcastle, so let's see what they're made of in the next few weeks. Thank you everyone for listening, and join us again next week.
See you guys.